Thank you so much, by the way, for helping me set up the village email.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I wish I had really thought about what problem I was trying to solve instead of worrying about the browser login. Really, you just need the mail app to be able to receive your
Yeah.
email. So
Yeah,
but
so
we got it
thank
fixed.
you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. It was time well spent. We got you up and running.
I appreciate it. I scrolled through all the emails
That you had missed.
that I had missed.
Where we volunteered you for so many things and you didn't
No,
reply,
no.
so we assumed you took responsibility and all of that.
No, actually, when I went to the website, realized the agenda was there, I went, and that's why I said, please forward.
Yeah, hi, Lynn. I had not put your name on the CSC CEC task force mail list. I had done that for trustees. So it's there for both of them now until you're absolutely sure it's working okay, then I'll take the personal one off.
I'll do a test, but I won't copy myself on the personal.
Yeah. Yeah, you can use your personal and send it to your VLansing.org.
Yeah, so between the two of them, I got stuff.
You can get two of everything for a little while anyway. Okay. I have hi Chris.
Hello.
I was just telling Kathleen that Zoom has become Zoom Workplace and they've moved things around and buttons behave slightly differently. And I've also got this Fathom note taker that puts things up on my screen. So I have to, when I'm sharing my screen, have to move things around so I can see what I'm sharing with you. So let me share the agenda. And can everyone see that okay?
Yep.
Okay. I can't, unfortunately. I've got so many bars. Okay. We'll give a second for Jerry to join. I hadn't heard that he was not joining. Chris, have you heard anything from Jerry?
He's intending on.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. He just texted me.
Okay.
All right, he said he's hopping on in a second.
Okay. Okay. I see Jerry's on now. So
How's it going?
will. Yep. All right. Thanks, Jerry. I will start today's meeting, the August 15th meeting of the Climate Smart Communities and Clean Energy Communities Task Force. that first pledge element 6 item is still there. It's still in process for within the joint safety action plan that we're working with Tompkins County to develop. So that's not due for release until next year. I just want to leave it there as a reminder. And for the pledge element 7 items, I want to go to the Google Sheets that I created. And it's shown here. I'm just having to see if I can make it. Okay, that's about as big as I can make it. Can everyone read those okay?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I basically transferred a lot of the information that we had on our agenda sheet into this spreadsheet. The climate resilience for the evaluate the policies to for the village. Jerry, are we still waiting for the DEC to give you a contract to start working on that plan?
So actually, we just got news. So we finally got news. The request for proposal was sent out this past Tuesday, so 2 days ago. So adaptation planning is indeed a part of the new contract coming out as well. So we subcontract through another organization that's going to be submitting proposal for this.
Okay.
Assuming that's all goes well, and I don't see any issues with it because they got the contract before and we've done pretty good work and are the most well positioned amongst some of the organizations to do the work. So I am actually going to start on this process pretty soon. And I was wondering if it would be of interest if you wanted to work with the town of Lansing to do this, because they're starting up their climate smart task forces as well, and this plan can actually incorporate two neighboring communities to work on the plan together.
Will that make the process much longer?
No, it might even make the process shorter because you guys will be kind of pooling resources, and if you wanted to do it separately and focus on each community, you could do that as well. But it would actually make things easier and more interactive when you have the workshopping sessions.
Okay.
So I haven't talked to Ed at the town yet, but I know that they were pretty enthusiastic about a resiliency plan as well. And so I think it might be a good idea to discuss that.
When you say Ed, which Ed is it?
Dubovi on the
Okay.
Conservation Advisory Board.
Okay. I don't, unless anyone on this call has an issue with that, I don't see any reason why we can't do both at the same time and sort of learn from each other. What do you think, Lynn and Kathleen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea to collaborate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once that proposal's sent in and we confirm get the contract, I'll have funding to do all this work. And so I will talk to the town at their next meeting and perhaps get you guys invited as well to see what the interest levels are, at least amongst the town side.
Okay. What's the organization you subcontract through?
Central New York.
Okay.
The Regional Planning Board.
Oh, right. And where are they? In Geneseo or somewhere? Where are they?
I think they're in. Is it at Syracuse?
Syracuse? Maybe they are in Syracuse. I may be thinking of a different group. Okay.
So when is their next meeting?
You mean the town's meeting?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's next month. I believe it's on the 5th.
September 5th.
I can double check. Just give me 1 second here.
Oh, I could look it up too.
Or what committee in the town is working on this?
The Conservation Advisory
Oh,
Committee.
okay, they're CAC.
And yep, and it is the 5th. Yep. Yeah, they were designated as the Climate Smart Task Force for the town years ago and are restarting the work now.
Okay.
Conservation action
A Conservation Advisory.
advisory, sorry.
Yep.
We used to have one in the village, but we did away with it.
Okay, that's good to know, Jerry. Thank you. And just keep us informed, and if you need, have someone send us an invitation if we need to be there. Or if not for their next meeting, that for whichever meeting is appropriate to discuss this topic.
Yeah, I'll let you know for sure. I'll talk
Okay.
to Ed for a bit.
Okay. The heat emergency plan, the Department of Emergency Response, or DOER, has this plan. I don't know, I'm not sure that the village really needs to do anything more for this, except whenever the DOER releases an alert for an upcoming heat emergency, is we communicate that with our residents through the website, through emails, etc. So I don't see any point to try to expend a lot of time and energy to develop something that already exists. What do you think, Lynn and Kathleen?
I agree, because, you know, if you talk to Jody about how many people actually visit our website, it's pretty small.
Right.
And there are so many other notification systems out there that most people can have, such as Siren,
Yes.
and the radio notifications that come on, the weather announcements and stuff. So I think that there are a lot of other media that people are engaged with more often than they are with the village website. It
Right.
doesn't get us off the hook. We should still have it there.
Yeah, just in case.
They might
And-
be visiting for some other reason, and we'll see it and go, oh, okay, the village is on top of this.
And I think the links are already on there to the county and to Siren, so people could sign up.
Yes,
Is that
yes, there. We can, I put that under our helpful links. People have to go looking for it, but we could temporarily put a post. We had the post when they first announced Siren. I think it was last year, maybe even the year before. We did have a post up for quite a while, suggesting that people sign up for it, and gave them a link. And we could put another post in as, don't forget, if you want the, emergencies from within Tompkins County that might be related to the village.
Yeah.
To sign up for this, because it works really well. I get all sorts of alerts on my phone after signing up.
I think you can also tailor the alerts so that you're not getting alerts that are,
Exactly.
there's a water main out over on West Hill. I don't
Yeah.
need to know. But the general emergencies that affect everybody, you get those.
Yeah, and you can sign up for exactly on the main county website. You can sign up for specifically what you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is also the new OSHA proposed regulations regarding heat. But it's for employers with 10 or more employees,
Right.
the occupational health and safety standards. It's
Yes.
Part 1910 you're aware of.
Mhm. I've heard of
Okay.
it. I'm not
Yeah,
familiar with it. I've heard of it, but I have not read it.
But it doesn't affect the village, right?
Well,
We're under-
it's heat injury and illness prevention. It's just a
Yeah.
good guide
Guide,
to
yeah.
provide some,
Especially to apply to the DPW guys.
right,
Yes, yeah,
They're the ones who are
one that
really,
does outdoor work.
right.
So it's basically heat injury and illness prevention that
Right.
would be something to consider for the village employees.
Okay, so say shade
And
structures.
county.
Okay, and Kathy sent us draft shade structures resolution. Did everyone have a chance to
Yep.
look at that?
yes.
Any suggestions or recommendations on how to go?
Do we have to adopt do you rather have to adopt a resolution to have this, to get the points for this
I-
particular element?
I believe you do that. We will have to do that for we have to do that for many of the CSC action items.
Okay, so you
Uh,
have to kind of something legally binding you to this.
Right, just that the
Yeah.
village recognizes it. I was gonna pull that up.
I was looking at it, Kathy, and I think it's really good. I think that our director of our public works is not a commissioner. He is a supervisor. Am I right, Ronnie? That John is the supervisor, not the
Yes.
superintendent.
Yeah,
He's the supervisor of public
Yeah.
works.
yeah.
And I'm not sure why that name varies, but maybe it has to do with the size, or maybe because he's in a village instead of a town.
Yeah,
you
it's a matter of
Is it scale?
no, it's not scale.
He's not elected.
No, he's not elected, but
Yeah,
it's
he's-
a matter of I'm just the term, the category, the civil service.
Mm.
It's a civil service type definition for supervisor or superintendent, and he is
Mhm.
one or the other. I can't remember.
I think he's probably not civil service.
No, but they're for job descriptions. That's
Yeah.
what we were using.
That's what we go by. Yeah, okay. I
that's
just
not-
said, that was just one thing I wanted to mention. And then there was can you put it up, Ronnie? Because
Yeah.
there was some,
I'm getting ready to share it now.
thanks, because Kathy had an acronym up there from Cornell and I didn't know what it stood for. It was like NRCC or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Yes.
Or was that?
Um,
It was at the beginning of your,
right,
Email.
right.
yeah,
I have to
NRCC.
look it up. I've got it printed here, but let me find it. They basically have a lot of resources like, heat index, all that kind of stuff.
Because
Uh,
NR make up natural resource, like Natural Resources Defense Council, NRDC.
No.
Not-
It's like DAP, Developmental Activities Program versus dispositional alternative. One is kids and the other is alternatives to incarceration. Yeah, all these acronyms.
I know. Wait, that just puzzled me, so it would be good to
Yeah.
have that.
So basically, you can't take credit for this. I mean, Jerry
Mhm.
sent Hamilton's
No, that's fine. I mean, why
resolution, and I just added
start
some.
all over again?
So yeah,
Don't reinvent the wheel when there are already some pretty good wheels out there that you can
I
copy.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I-
thank you. I did call the village just to see what other policies and stuff they had. I haven't heard back.
Is it possibly, yeah, it's the Northeast Regional Climate Center
Thank you.
Oh.
at Cornell.
oh, okay.
I was looking National Republican Congressional Committee. No, it wouldn't be that.
Northeast Regional, yeah, the NE.
Northeast
I think,
Region.
yeah. Okay,
All right, so let me go back. Hang on, I moved away from the resolution, draft resolution. Okay, the one thing that in reading this, I did not see
Mhm.
is a reference to the the increased number of heat emergencies that we're having.
Okay,
And I wonder if we should put that in here, probably close to the beginning, but I'm not sure the best place.
oh, to put in an extreme heat piece.
But just that whereas since the
Mhm.
I don't know if we
Okay.
want to tie it locally to the Tompkins County Department of Emergency Response issuing increased number of heat emergencies within the Tompkins County area.
Okay,
Because that's really the thing that, I mean, it's only a portion of this, but it's
right.
the increased heat emergencies make
Okay.
this much more important than just having shade because it's good for your health. It also helps to keep you alive.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think it'd be easier to cite something either globally or regionally instead of just the county, because they might not have that information, and so it might just be better to say something like, whereas we believe that climate change has caused increased temperatures, which leads directly to an increased number of emergencies or something like that.
okay. I'll stick it in and we can move it
And-
around.
Heat related emergencies because power outages also,
Mhm.
Okay,
okay, Yeah.
let me
that would be good.
we can do some wordsmithing here. Whereas, I'll say that again slower so I can type.
Yeah,
Whereas,
the village board recognizes the recognizes climate change causing an increased amount of heat emergencies. Yeah, and we can wordsmith that however it was. I just off the top of my head, that's like it. That's what I can come up with.
whereas the village board recognizes that climate change
Mhm.
um, is
Impacts weather patterns, increased heat emergencies, and-
well, we could just say is
Yeah,
increasing
The number of heat
the
emergencies.
number
yeah.
and duration
or frequent, yeah, right.
increasing we could say frequency
Frequency.
instead of number.
Yeah. Yep.
Sees in our village, because this is basically for our village. And does that sound okay to everyone?
We don't have to say in our village, just leave
Just in
it,
general?
yeah. I would think,
Okay, well, we can try that.
especially since we're gonna be collaborating with the town and the county, et cetera. Or in the region,
Okay,
I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's probably good. Just leave it open.
is this a good location for that? The second in line.
Well, let's see, the first one is benefits, the second one is who benefits, the third is, yeah, that's a good place,
I think it helps build your case.
yeah.
It's part of your reasoning
Okay,
for
Mhm.
adopting for the resolution. So, you
Yeah.
know, the more weight clout you have at the beginning, the more the
Yes.
resolution.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I just wonder, the reason I say that is if we move it first.
We
is that-
could
Is just, we can play with that. Let's see how that reads.
think about it.
and then see if we want to move
Yeah.
it back to where it was.
So first is good because that sets the stage. There's increased climate change is the main thing. And then, yeah.
I mean, we've always valued our shade trees, but we've never put them in this kind of context before. And now we're realizing how incredibly important they are, and we have to increase the availability of shade,
Right.
however we get it.
Mhm.
Do we want to say that, I mean, depending on how broadly you want to use this, climate change impacts weather patterns, the environment, and health. And then we're seeing an increasing frequency and duration of heat emergencies. Kind of the very general, because we do talk about environment later on, and we do talk about health as well
It's
as
fine.
community.
Again, it's building your case.
So in the first one, I don't
Mhm.
know, and jump in.
And
So climate change impacts weather patterns and the environment and health. And the village recognizes the increasing frequency and duration of heat emergencies or something like that. I'm terrible at language.
Actually, I think you're pretty good.
well, okay, say that climate change is
But
and-
climate change impacts weather patterns, the environment, and health. And the board recognizes the increasing frequency and duration of heat emergencies. I don't know if you want two separate ones or one.
that's what I'm trying to decide.
Yeah.
Do any of the other municipalities, Kathy,
Two.
you looked at, did they say anything about kind of what you're trying to wordsmith right here? Other than just saying that there's a recent heat.
Well, the
They
health department put it in sort of that context.
Okay, we could just borrow from that.
So maybe keep it as two. You know, that one, end at pattern, end at health, and then the second one, exactly how you put it, because that's a subset.
Hang on a second.
I think it was the village board. Oh. Or whereas I forget what you said, Jerry.
Where is this?
Whereas climate change increases heat-related increase.
Yeah, heat emergencies, yeah.
And then
What? Well, I'm just trying not to use recognizes again.
yeah, a synonym.
Yeah, synonym. Let's see, I know what I could.
Acknowledge it, no.
Well, here, hang on a second. Oops. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay.
Or just whereas there has been increased frequency and duration of heat emergencies in the region. Get rid of the village board.
Whereas.
The frequency and, yeah, and duration of
Whereas
heat
the-
emergency, heat emergencies.
the
Frequency. Has been increasing.
Which is increasing.
Okay.
Have been increasing. You've got two things there, the frequency and duration, so it's a plural, right?
Are.
Yeah, are
increasing.
increasing.
Okay, how does that?
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so do we want to present this to the trustees? I would suggest waiting. We've got our agenda it's not quite set, but I want to give this to the trustees with a little more time to read through it and understand it. So we could send this to the trustees and ask if they would consider it either at next month's staff trustees meeting on, let me pull up a calendar here.
Would you also be asking them to look at it in draft form or that it's a done deal?
It's a draft. The first one would be a draft.
Okay.
And then
so
they could
they might wait.
wordsmith it if they needed to, and then we could
Okay,
bring it up for consideration at a subsequent meeting. So the staff meeting would be well, no, actually we could do it for our first meeting in September on September 2nd.
Okay.
For the August 19th, may not be enough time. It might, but it might not. I like to give them just a little more time than I did warn them today.
do you have a meeting on Labor Day?
Is that Labor Day?
It is.
Oh, then we do not. It doesn't show up on my Google my
You
Windows
actually don't
calendar.
meet again then until
The 12th.
the 12th.
Okay.
Oh, no. You wouldn't meet till the 16th. Because doesn't the planning board meet on the 9th then? The next Monday? And then you have your Thursday meeting. Are you still meeting every other Monday and then the Thursday?
It's not every other Monday. It's the first Monday and the second
third?
Thursday after the first Monday, and then the third Monday.
Oh, okay, so it's, okay, it's changed. All right,
Let me check. Labor
So
Day, yeah. So
the
we would
second is
not meet
the-
on the 2nd. We would meet on the 12th for our noon staff trustees meeting, and then the next meeting would be on the 16th, which is 4 days after the the noon meeting. So this 12th would be the first time we could actually present this. So let me go back to, okay. So this looks good. I thought I saw, yeah, I did see a grammatical error there.
Probably, yeah.
Not major. It's one that James, that's fine. I don't see anything else.
Oh, there's no and. The second one, mitigation runoff, let's see. Before the where,
Right here.
there's
Right.
an and missing, yeah. After mitigation, it should be comma and.
And whereas, and then the
Yeah,
whereases are
reading
finished.
into the whereas.
Sorry, guys, I should have proved better.
No, you did fine. You put this together. We're just polishing it up. And now therefore be it resolved that to promote the achievement of these important public objectives, the Village of Lansing Board of Trustees hereby adopts this policy regarding shaded areas. Hereafter, while planning development or construction projects on village property, the
You
code
can-
enforcement, I'm sorry. What were you about to say, Kathleen?
y- You mentioned it's not commissioner.
Code and, oh, I see.
The supervisor.
Let me confirm that. I have that on the website. I will go to the website and confirm his title. It's government.
Do we want to actually assign the responsibility in this, do you think, if we're it's a question.
John is superintendent of public works.
It's
Okay.
superintendent. Okay.
Okay. Superintendent works. Public works shall identify and evaluate existing and new shaded areas on village property and shall, to the extent feasible, integrate new shade structures and or new tree plantings to provide shaded areas that are compatible with and supportive of the objectives of this policy. Okay. Yeah, and the certification is a standard
However.
thing. Jody might replace that with something
Yeah,
if she disagrees with that wording, but that the crux of it is everything through the carried. Okay. So what do you think about presenting this to the trustees for discussion at the noon meeting on September 12th? Kathleen and I will be in that meeting, I believe. I'm assuming you'll be there, Kathleen.
Mhm.
And so we could talk about this, and Kathleen being the primary author, and we've gone through this discussion. I
Area
think,
village.
yeah, I think we can make a good case for it. We always get the question, why are we doing this? It's not necessary. And I won't mention who says this, but it's almost always someone. And so we just have to say, well, this is part of our climate smart communities action.
Mhm.
We do this because it's the right thing to do. It's not very far from what we really already do. We're just putting it on paper, and we want to not just talk the talk, but we want to walk the walk. So this will help us do that. So I think we could probably present that. So is it okay if we do that, Lynn?
Yes, that's fine.
Jerry, what do you think? Does it look like a valid resolution for the shaded areas?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. So what I will do after this meeting is I will put it into a Word document, just the resolution itself, and forward it along to the trustees. Let me go back now and share the spreadsheet. Moved on me. There we go. Okay. Okay. This. All right. Okay. Thank you, Kathleen. The cooling centers on this one, the New York State list already exists, and the county basically defaults to the state, and I don't know if really the village should do any more beyond that. It's only a 1-point action. So I'm thinking we just defer this and rely on the state or the county reference to the state cooling center list for the village. It's already the mall is already identified as our major cooling center. I guess we could in the future start thinking about should there be other cooling centers. It would have to be a fairly large space to accept a lot of people if need be. But that's beyond the village's ability right now.
Yeah.
So the link,
Go ahead, Kathleen.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
the link, Jody has the link under, it's, under heat right there.
Yes.
And Scott in environmental health at the local health department.
Mm-hmm.
So he mentioned the Y also.
Oh,
That's
YMCA.
being the second one, and then there's another one in the office space for CFCU office space on Craft Road.
Oh,
And
are
I'm
they
not
on the
sure
official
that's-
list?
He said that they had just been added.
Okay, maybe
he
the
looked.
list hasn't. Okay.
But I'm not sure if that's technically the village.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, it's just it's on Craft Road.
Yeah.
Just
And
on the way.
then,
Yeah, and it's a larger facility. Yes.
and then he gave me the booklet that I think I sent, just about the tower, the cooling tower regulations because of listeria.
Right.
You have
Right.
to be registered, you have to test, et cetera, et cetera.
I see.
He asked us if there were any others in the village we wanted to identify. I just throw it out there.
Not at this point. Any place that's large enough to hold a significant number of people would probably be within business parks or business centers, and that would be kind of up to them. We couldn't.
Right.
We could ask, but I don't think we could implement it on their properties. But it's always open. If we start needing more cooling centers, that's definitely a discussion, but that's most likely a discussion that we can trigger with the county health department and just say, let's look for some other cooling centers. Can you help us identify businesses? And we can all contact them and see if they would be willing to turn for instance, an empty commercial property within the Cayuga Mall, if it's not going to be rented, turn it into a cooling center and that type of thing. But it's kind of beyond the scope of this village, of our village, right, to do something like that. So I think for this one, we will just, I'm going to say defer. Jerry, if you have an input, please speak up.
Yeah, just if you post this somewhere in like a newsletter or on the website, if it's already there, you could just submit for like a point. I think there's 1 point just for advertising cooling centers. So
I see. Okay.
Yeah, the next time there's like a heat related emergency, if you guys want to post it somewhere, that would get you a point.
Well, that's easy enough to do. Okay, so
So
I can
so
do
it's
that.
the health department site that's already there that links directly.
Well, what I'll do is I will also create a direct link to the village cooling centers as identified by New York State. And I'm making a note to myself, so this will be a helpful link. And I can, then we can have it in two places. When we have the heat emergency alerts, we can have what we currently have, but also in helpful link. The helpful link will just say cooling centers within the village of Lansing, and it can open up the New York State list. And I'll see if I can't get it to direct the user down into a specific line for the village. So many times that's possible. So, and I'll just say, Jerry believes.
It's interesting. I went to a couple places that are listed in the county just to see if staff had noticed any increase in usage during the heat emergencies.
Yeah.
And if anything, it was a decrease, and most of them didn't even know they were cooling center.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is
Not-
interesting.
Needs a little communicating. I'm also curious about what happens after hours. These places are only cooling centers during normal business operation hours. And we have very hot nights because of all the humidity. The heat doesn't go away. I mean, the most intense heat, of course, is during daylight hours.
Right.
But nighttime can be pretty miserable too for people living in an unair conditioned house or an apartment.
Right.
You know, it can be 85 and can't sleep.
Yeah, I haven't read the state guidelines on after hours.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
Access to those.
It says to call and find out what their hours are.
Right.
And COFA did have the program that ran through September for people who were eligible to get an air conditioner.
Right.
A county office of the agent, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, I will move on. Riparian buffers, I put this note here. There's nothing specifically that I can find on the CWEO website about riparian buffers. There's a minor mention in one of the documents, but it's not very much. But I wanted to, we can try to contact them officially and say, can you give us information about these topics? But the same note I've placed for the watershed plan for water quality. I believe that they already have that. The source water protection ditto, and water conservation and reuse, I think, would be embedded within their documents too. So I wanted to try to contact them with this information and just see if I can get someone to answer back about what the resources might be that we could use for our documentation that we submit, because we have been a significant part of CWEO since very early in their beginning. And
Right.
have
I'm sure
helped develop
Roxy,
that.
I'm sure Roxy could get back to you.
Yes. Yeah.
She's a fountain of information.
Right. Yeah. And just ask them, there's no extreme hurry. Just, when you have a chance, can you let us know if these documents exist within the CWEO's library of resources that we've developed. And so I will do that. I just wanted to let you know that I have those marked for that, and I will be able to send Roxy an email, and I'll copy Susan Ainsley on that, since she's our representative to CWEO right now. Conserve natural areas, it's already identified in the Greenway plan, the comprehensive plan. So I think that we can probably submit those documents and reference the particular paragraphs, et cetera, that deal with conserving natural areas. And so that's another thing that I can do. I don't mind doing this because I know how to get into the CSC system and figure out what they want, and then pull it from documents and submit it. There's no reason for anyone else to get involved in that right now. And the green infrastructure, I think we would need a policy for that. I think we will get some pushback from the DPW guys just because of expenses. But we can look at samples of green infrastructure to see what's available before we decide to search. the green infrastructure.
So green infrastructure, meaning,
Rain gardens, vegetated swales, stormwater management devices, green roofs, green walls,
okay, so the whole,
lawns in favor of prairie plantings, that kind of thing. Those are all kind of fit into the green infrastructure. Porous pavement.
okay.
I can, hang on a second. I will have to see if I can share. Oops, yeah, that's right. Stop share.
That's
I've got to
okay.
share. Trying to, yeah, I'll share this screen. This is linked from the CSC documentation. Yeah, so there, the link, if you refer to this spreadsheet, if you click on the actual title of the action item, it will take you to the CSC document that explains all of that. And what Lynn just said covers a great portion of this. We do a lot of this now, but as far as a policy to say that we're doing it and why, I don't believe we have at this point. We've just been doing it. And that's true of a lot of things we've noticed in CSC, that why are we doing this? Well, we're just documenting what we've already done and why, and we submit it for a point and we get credit. So, and we can obviously get more points. So I don't, the rainwater harvesting and reuse, we don't do yet. Bioretentions, we do have bioretention areas.
Is this, as a matter of policy, is this for village facilities and operations, or is this like a local law or policy that would apply to?
Well, it's right now, it is basically a stormwater system with bioretention ponds built into it for the village itself, not for village buildings.
Yeah.
So we could, for instance, the DPW guys, I've heard that I heard at some point, and I'm going way back in my faulty memory, that they capture rainwater to use to drive around and where there's not a faucet and water specific areas. So they may already do some of that. So
I wonder where they capture the rainwater.
I thought they captured it over by the garage, the DPW garage.
Oh, they might have a rain barrel.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I think that they use that to at least to supplement their truck or their trailer with the watering tank on it. So we do some of this. So we probably can document some of it, but I don't. As far as a policy, it would be good to have a policy to say we're doing these things for these reasons, and but we are definitely doing some of it. I just don't know if we're doing enough. But so we might get 1 point, 2 point, 3 points, but that's fine. That's we're not just in it for the points. We're in it for reasons we're doing it and doing it for the right reasons. So.
No, I'll put this on my agenda of things to look at again. I can, if there is a policy or resolution to pass, I can see if I can find a draft or find one for you to do.
Yeah, just send it to us, Jerry, and we'll take a look at it and wordsmith it like we did today and go forward with it. And in the meantime, I will check with John to see if they do capture rainwater. But I believe that's the only one I know about. I know that the village hall does not, nor does the old hall.
Yeah, well, the village hall has 2 really nice retention swales right outside the building. And they're full of vegetation, and those do a great job of slurping up excess water.
Right.
But they're not making it available for anything else. That's the idea of a vegetated catchment system. So it goes off in the plants.
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to my Zoom window and share something. share the, okay. Some of this is documented also, I think, within our village stormwater management plan. So we would have that also, that explains why we're doing this and what we're using, and we're monitoring it. So. Okay. The flood mitigation plan, this has already, the hazard mitigation plan and our appendix has been submitted to the climate smart communities. So there's nothing we need to do with that. That's part of our, the flood mitigation was part of our plan within the overall county hazard mitigation plan due to the severe rain events we get. So it was already there, and we're getting ready to update that. And I am sure that that will be another one of our top 3 components to the village's mitigation plan. So if we update that, then we can submit the update to CSC2. Okay, nature-based shorelines. Our Greenway plan talks about Poison Ivy Point, and Lynn added this comment about it being our only shoreline natural area. And I think that the recommendation and its acceptance as part of our Greenway plan to leave that area alone and not develop it into a public park is basically might be enough where we can submit that to.
Yeah, I added that little bit about the peregrines because apparently there were 3 active peregrine nests in the basin, in the Cute Lake Basin this year, which is a first.
Yeah, that's good.
One of them was right up there on the cliff, about almost even with Bolton Point's intake, which is pretty fantastic. You could see the birds from the teal when you go out on the lake.
Right, right.
So, you know, that's been 50 years in the making to bring those birds back.
That's great.
And they're back and they're in the village, which is
Yeah.
pretty exciting. At least they were this summer.
Yeah. Well, usually they will come back if they
Yeah.
find it safe.
And they like those cliffs.
Yeah. That's great.
They're pretty much free of predators.
Yeah. Except for
except for baldies. Well, baldies
Well,
are pretty rough.
Yeah,
on
they are. Yeah. And the culverts and dams, I still have not heard back from John and Mike about the culverts. I know we've got right sizing projects. And we've got one that's actually underway this summer. So I am trying to get the documentations to submit. We don't have any dams per se, but we do have culverts that we have right sized to help the flow of runoff water into down toward Cayuga Lake. So they were replaced specifically to allow for greater flow. So I think that we can document that. I just have not received it. And then we've covered these 3. The water smart landscaping. I guess this is something we probably should have discussed with the planning board as far as do they want to promote or encourage this and how. So
It might mean changes to the village code.
Yes.
Which is fine, you know, it just takes time to do that, but I think it's
Right.
time to look at
Yeah.
at the stormwater part of the code that's required during development.
Right. And it could
And
also
pre and post.
it can also potentially, I would think, become part of the stormwater management plan.
Yes,
Where it's, you know, we would like to see these things, you know, in place to help with slowing water on its way to the lake, and at least not destroying life and property on the way down to the lake when it just runs so fast through the creeks and so forth. So this one probably will take a little bit longer, but I don't think it's off the table. I think it's a good thing to at least start discussing, see what we would like to see in this area. It would do nothing but enhance the village and actually enhance the Tompkins County if municipalities around here started doing this more often. So
the Stormwater Coalition, if I assume that's still
yes, as
in
far as I
existence.
know, it's still in existence.
And that Mike is our representative to that,
Yes.
I think.
That he is our representative.
Yeah, and that would be, Angel and John Negley in that group would have, a wealth of information on how we could possibly provide amendments to the current stormwater regulations vis-a-vis development. I think we have plenty of resources locally that can help on that.
Angel. Stormwater.
And the DEC, DEC certainly has a lot of best management practices that are information that's available for people. And the Water Resources Council has done quite a bit of municipal training over the last few years for municipalities on stormwater management. And there might be.
Who was that? DEC?
The DEC and the Water Resources Council,
Water
the county.
resources.
Which I'm still on. I'm not involved with the municipal training group, but they have done some really good training sessions for municipalities over the last few years on issues related to water quality. So sometimes it's stormwater, sometimes it's culvert sizes, sometimes it's what other kinds of structures are available for mitigating water runoff, but all related to water quality and quantity.
Okay. And that's it. Research potential grants. If we had some larger projects that might be
right,
or to help a neighborhood, if you could get a neighborhood together. And so, okay, all right, that's good. That covers all of our topics here today, and it should have automatically been saved. I'll stop that share and then go back to my agenda. Sure. Okay. So that basically covers all of the information up here that it's just a different way of looking at it. And so we can go into the CCE, the bronze certification for I think we're like 15 or 19 points away from our bronze certification. So with these actions that we're completing, we're getting closer and closer. So hopefully we can turn that corner and be evaluated in the next cycle or an upcoming cycle. I think they do it twice a year or something like that.
The next cycle is going to be in January, so there's plenty of time. And the village is extremely close, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it is just a matter of a way of chipping away at the points slowly. And it's done, I think, 3 times a year. So there's a lot of opportunities throughout the year, but it's done more than twice.
Oh, okay. I thought it was twice. Okay, thanks for the clarification. So we might be close in January. The community solar, we have applied for the Tier 1 grant. I got a notification that they had accepted our application, but I haven't heard anything about the award of a grant yet. And the same is true for our Tier 2 submission for clean heating and cooling. That would be a $10,000 grant. So we're in a waiting phase now for that. Just everything's there. They're just considering it and they'll get back to us at some point. And there is, once we have the The $5,000 grants don't have any stipulations, just a general, try to use it for clean energy uses, but the $10,000 grant would require a project or a cluster of projects that the village would have to propose and have accepted, and then implement, track, and report. So I don't think it's a significant amount of administration, but it does require a little bit more than the normal tier 1 grant. And
The most of the admin is also stuff that I can help with.
okay.
Up to even tracking down quotes, vendors, if that ends up being necessary.
Okay.
Everybody likes to do it slightly differently, so I make phone calls on behalf of some towns and not others.
Okay.
So that's, but I am available for that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And yes, the 5K, I mean, with the $5,000 grant, even that can be put into the clean energy fund, that the previous one was. And then essentially, you've just got a bank of now 10K that when the right project comes along, you could dole out. We can also combine it. You can use the 5K grant for things like bike racks, tree planting, again, as long as it's ostensibly got an energy reduction or electrification kind of bent to it. The 10K does have to be a little bit more ordered. That's things like road EVs, that's things like electric lawn equipment, building heat pumps,
Yes.
So just throwing that out there to the we don't even have the notice of grant award eligibility. So at this point, the clock's not ticking, but
right.
We have been hearing that the money is going pretty quickly. And so there is a world in which, even though we're eligible for this grant, the money available for these grants does dry up.
Yeah, dries up.
I don't think that that's maybe super likely in the next month or so, but when we get the grant notification, we've got 3 months from that period, and we probably don't want to wait the full 3 months to submit. So having a project idea sooner rather than later. With the $10,000 grant, it doesn't have to go to contract. The only thing we need is a quote and an idea. And then even if we want to like change vendors, if, for instance, we had at one point talked about like EV chargers, things like that. If you want to go out and buy an EV charger and a vendor gives you a quote, we can use that to apply for the funding. And if we decide we actually want it on the other side of the parking lot, and that's going to change some of the costs, like the grant is used as a direct to voucher. And so as long as the project doesn't like meaningfully change, we couldn't just put it towards solar if we said that we were going to put it towards an EV charger.
Right.
But if we have to kind of re-look at things after the grant is issued, as long as we're within the ballpark, it won't be too much of a,
Good
so
deal.
all of that is to say there is some benefit to identifying a project and then kind of moving on it. And then if we need to play with it, we can.
Tweak it a little bit. Yeah.
Could I ask a question about the $5,000 grants? You said it has to have an energy component, so it couldn't really be for something like shade structures.
We have seen it be used for tree planting. That could be kind of an interesting, you want to use the 5,000 as buy a couple of nursery trees and maybe throw a community event and do a community tree plant. Like that we haven't really seen that done before, but it is technically allowed. And I think it'd be very neat. So I'm absolutely willing to go to bat to NYSERDA for that if that's what you guys want.
I mean, eventually trees that shade a dwelling will cut down their energy use.
But
that's a long
a growing tree has a carbon drawdown aspect. Like it's one of the project types that they list as potential for the 5K. We just haven't seen people do it. There's always chatter, but so we could even make a stamp, Village of Lansing first in the state you know,
Up on the
pretty kinda
leaderboard.
cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
So-
that's good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So you could also incorporate things like smaller things like equipment replacement that the DPW uses,
Yes. So
right?
the big stipulation is that we can't do anything that's got a fossil fuel component. So they
Right.
won't, they would fund like insulation in a building that's got a natural gas system, but they
Mhm.
won't fund a new natural gas boiler, right?
Right.
So yeah,
I was thinking more along the lines of landscape equipment,
absolutely.
Yeah,
for their
electric.
maintenance, electric charge.
Chargeable weed whackers and
Right.
lawn. Yeah.
And then they own that sign they put up, road closed, that neon sign, that
Yes, the
Like-
LED sign. Yeah.
if you put solar on that, the way the Cornell
Yeah.
one is saying, this way to for the new arrivals, things like that.
So it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because we were just talking statewide about oh, so we might be able to use the $5,000 grant for those, not the 10,000. 5,000's got again a little bit more leeway. The 10,000 is stricter about what types of projects, and that unfortunately they don't like solar that's not grid tied. But again, we've got the previous $5,000 grant hanging out. We've got hopefully this $5,000 grant coming, which we can play with, and then that $10,000. We could do, electric landscaping equipment is a pre-approved project type. It's very well scoped. I've helped a handful of communities sort of eyeball that. I've got a rough cost primer written up. So that's yeah. And for 10K, you're getting, you're replacing probably a good handful of their equipment with batteries to spare, like it's actually a pretty significant chunk of change for the handheld equipment.
It is.
One of the
Just-
projects I was considering was purchasing an electric zero turn mower for our parks, for our DPW guys to use on our parks.
Five is gonna be a down payment on one of those. You
They
know,
are
They are,
they are pricey, yeah.
Yeah,
But
it
I
just
think-
depends. Yeah, that was just something I hadn't done any kind of cost
Yeah.
research or anything, but it's just an idea. I had seen some that were like $8,000 for a zero turn.
Those sorry, not to cut you off.
Go ahead.
They do have those models. Those are more like the recycle grade
Okay,
stuff.
not a industrial strength.
Yeah,
Okay.
and with the use cycle of a DPW, you really want something more in the commercial line.
Okay.
And those do start to get very quickly into like 30, even up to what did I just scope out? It's like a 50K
Okay,
top of the line kind of thing. But
okay.
yeah, those the real hefty ones that you want for large jobs, use every day. Yeah.
Okay.
Chris, are
Thank you.
you talking about electric?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I'm surprised that they would be up that high.
There is. Well, so the one way that I try to frame it is like the cost difference is about, it starts at about $10,000 and kind of goes up depending on the type of equipment and how many batteries you want.
Mhm.
So there's a world in which the 10K grant, instead of thinking about it like paying $40,000 for a mower, it's in a way it's more like you're paying $30,000 for a mower, which you might pay for a good zero turn anyways, and you're erasing that cost difference using the NYSERDA grant.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that's,
Yeah.
you also have way less maintenance. If you're charging at off hours, your fuel use or fuel costs are generally going down. And we just spoke to Shenango County. They implemented a whole bunch of this stuff, and their DPW guys were skeptical. And then as soon as they got something in their hand, they were like, oh, there's actually rules. So
Mhm.
it is we've seen initial pushback that almost immediately fades away into like, this is a good piece of equipment. So it's, yeah,
Great.
It
Good to
speaks
hear.
for itself then.
Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
and
that's
also-
totally viable.
Also, any longevity data, reliability, parts and all that.
Yeah.
With electric things, longevity is a little problematic because some of it's so new that you don't have 15 or 20 years of history. You've got
Yeah.
3 to 5. But anyway, it's just a possibility. So when we get notification of the award, if we get it, then we can start discussing that and with the trustees and see what we would like to do. Some
Yeah.
different ideas and scope it out and select one and pursue it.
And if you all want me and or Jerry, I don't want to volunteer him, but our desks are right next to each other. If you all want us to like chase specific leads and then present to the board about what might be possible and what might be sort of I'm available for that. And then I
Okay.
won't volunteer Jerry for it because I don't know what's in his contract, but
I'll volunteer myself. So
yeah.
Thank you both.
Yeah.
That'd be great because then you're the experts and you can
Mhm.
address the questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Okay. Well, that's all I had for today. It was a good meeting. We got a lot done. So I guess
to-
if it's okay, we can adjourn.
Right.
All right.
And the next thing is, okay, the next meeting,
Oh,
where is it? Is the 19th, right?
Sounds right.
September.
oh,
Yeah.
wait, isn't that NICOM?
That is NICOM. We might not,
Uh-oh.
we might have to
Okay.
skip a month.
Well, I'll wait to hear from you
Yeah.
about reschedule.
Can it get rescheduled?
Yeah, I think that's the first day of NICOM.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we could try to reschedule.
schedule another time in September that works for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
Okay.
We might need a doodle.
Yes. Yeah, I could do. I know how to doodle.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Do is doodle. You want to see what I've been doing all day? Doodling. No, just kidding.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Okay.
All right. Everyone have a good evening.
Bye.
So,
good evening.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
thank you. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.